world is watching what happens here in Pakistan. It's the only Muslim nuclear power, and it's a key ally in America's war on terror. I have come here as the nation struggles in the face of rising militancy and an uncertain future. With a promise of elections in January and widespread pressure for democracy, this is a defining moment in Pakistan's history. And what happens here affects the world. Pakistan entered its 60th anniversary year with a general as its head of state. The military have ruled the country for half that time. Now, General Pervez Musharraf will hand over command of the army that brought him to power.
I was thinking how time has passed. I was remembering my days when I joined this army 46 years back, when in October 1961, as a 17-year-old.
I witnessed Musharraf pass command of the army to General Ashfaq Kayani, until recently head of the ISI, Pakistan's security services. For Musharraf, quitting the army he loves and from which he has derived his power is the price he must pay to remain president for a second term.
It was difficult, but not difficult from the fact that I ought to be removing my uniform. That had a constitutional issue, and one had to do it. 46 years of association doesn't get washed off. They will remember me, I will remember them for quite some time to come. And then my personal association with the Chief of Army Staff and friendship with most of the top hierarchy of the army, that can't be cut off.
Away from the parades, the government has clashed with Pakistan's top judges. I travel north to Peshawar with Athar Minallah to see what his fellow lawyers are fighting for.
This time it's very different. These are all moderate and liberal forces. They want a democratic society under the rule of law. If you don't have independence of judiciary in this country, you don't have the rule of law. And if you don't have rule of law, you'll have extremism in this country.
As we drive, I catch fleeting glimpses of other lives going on as usual. I wondered how many Pakistanis were affected by the crisis. What are your personal reasons for going on hunger strike?
The personal reason is that whatever is taking place in Pakistan, that is out of the law.
We are aware about the law, so we cannot let the Musharraf to do all this rubbish.
We're prepared to go to any extent because this is, we believe, the turning point in the history of our nation and in our lives. Because we do not want to live under dictatorships and military regime for the next 60 years. As the mistakes that our fathers made, we do not want to make that now.
How do they destabilize the government? They are very clear. Destabilize one person, and that is me. Destabilize this man, and the whole thing will fall. So let's destabilize this chap.
The Chief Justice was put under house arrest. He'd become a symbol of independence for the lawyers and an obstruction for Musharraf. No journalist has seen the Chief Justice since his arrest, but he managed to get a call through to us to speak publicly for the first time.
I'm staying in this home in custody. The army is monitoring my custody, though the police is also there. But no matter, because I know that as far as these days are concerned, This will then determine the future of this nation.
General Musharraf's relationship with the Chief Justice had broken down. He was summoned to a meeting on March the 9th.
There was complaints against the Chief Justice, against his corruption, against his interference in the executive, interference to a degree that the executive had almost stopped functioning. So therefore, something had to be done. The ultimate decision had to be taken.
The Chief Justice was sacked, but he campaigned against his dismissal.
The resistance by the Chief Justice Iftikhar Mohammad Chaudhry and his photograph of 13th of March, where he's pulled by his hair by security officials, had become a defining moment.
Despite allegations of corruption against the Chief Justice, outraged lawyers became unlikely revolutionaries as they poured onto the streets to support him. Scenes like this of lawyers being tear-gassed by the police had never been witnessed before in Pakistan's 60-year history.
Now onwards, the problem starts. The lawyers and politicization, the political elements coming in and creating a perfectly constitutional judicial case into turmoil.
The whole country rallied behind the Chief Justice. The most incredible scenes took place in Pakistan. You know, the lawyers, I mean, who expected lawyers to lead a movement? We suddenly see a new Pakistan emerging, a democratic Pakistan.
As the widespread campaign in his support continued, the Chief Justice was reinstated.
As far as those charges were concerned, those are absolutely incorrect charges. And 13 members bench of the Supreme Court set aside those charges. Not only that, a fine was imposed upon the government lawyers, and they have also to tender apology before the court.
The government was under increasing pressure. The crunch came in October. General Musharraf's first term as president was coming to an end, and he had to be elected if he was to serve a second term.
The parliament went for elections of the president in accordance with the constitution, and 57% of the total house or Senate, National Assembly, 4 provincial assemblies elect me. Now, sovereignty of the parliament, they violate and they say, okay, this is an unofficial result. You can't announce it, you can't issue a notification till we decide the case. And now this case goes on.
The Supreme Court insisted it had to consider petitions claiming that the election was invalid because Musharraf had not resigned his post as army chief. The court appeared to be in no hurry to give its ruling, and the government faced the prospect that Musharraf's presidency would end and leave Pakistan without a head of state.
As far as his allegation against me about delaying are concerned, is absolutely incorrect. I was not the member of the bench which was hearing the case, but when there is a self-created fear, it will be against you, and then he started saying that probably the Supreme Court is a conspirator and was calling delay in disposing of his cases.
A showdown was inevitable. General Musharraf declared a state of emergency, dismissed the Chief Justice, and swore in new judges.
So it was a bitter pill which had to be swallowed. You don't act or you act. Both had its repercussions. So we decided on which one would have lesser repercussions. We took that course. Not acting would have been very serious. It would have put the country into a chaotic situation.
Athar Minallah is risking arrest by coordinating the campaign supporting the Chief Justice. Despite this, he takes me to try to see him.
जाने की इजाज़त है? क्यों? है? यार आपका कसूर पाकिस्तान है यार हाँ है नहीं तो जज हैं यार सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जज हैं ये बेहतर जानता जज हैं जो भी हैं चीफ जस्टिस है यार हमारा he's saying that you're not allowed to हाँ वो कहते हैं कि the intelligence agencies you see are there and they are asking you to leave.
Okay. I mean, they're clearly very sensitive about it.
Actually, they are saying that you stop filming, otherwise they'll have you behind bars as well. They mean business. I don't want you to. You can experience the prisons.
Away from the cities and the organized demos, in the hills of Waziristan bordering Afghanistan, Musharraf is fighting another war that is dividing Pakistan, the war on terror.